Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Awaken and Manifest Your Best Life, the podcast experience. So, this episode, I really wanted to dive into more in depth on spiritual awakening and its profound connection to energy work. And this is something that has actually been shocking to me, that some people don't use energy work with their spiritual awakening process and their journey. And I think this is a fascinating topic to explore because throughout my research, what I've really discovered is a lot of people are more familiar with inner child work and shadow work, but they're not really using energy work or mindset tools to their personal advantage when it comes to spiritual awakening. I thought this was a really fascinating thing personally. So I did my own little digging, and I wanted to share what I've learned when it comes to energy work, my own personal process on energy work, how I've honestly grown so much from energy work, and why I personally believe energy work is crucial to your spiritual awakening. So stay tuned. Hey guys, we are back with another episode of the podcast. So I'm going to be honest with you, I've been working out the kinks here, so just bear with me. I am so grateful that you are here and watching. We have reached over 1,000 subscribers. The podcast has been also growing beautifully. I just want to give a shout out and a hug to everybody who's watching and who tunes in. It means a lot to me. You're exactly why I'm here. And I've been really enjoying the new experience of the podcast and the YouTube. I think it offers a very fun way for me to show up and serve the people and also just share some valuable tools, valuable tips, valuable information. So if you don't know me, I'm Ashley. I am a mindset coach and empowerment coach. I love to talk on all things manifestation, mind, body healing, chakra work, kundalini, etc. And most of all, if you didn't know, I had a spiritual awakening. In fact, it was more so a kundalini awakening back in 2011. And ever since that moment, my life has honestly been forever changed since I don't even know when. So if you're here with me now, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're new to awakening, welcome to the awakened state. And if you have been here for a while, welcome back. And so today I wanted to do something a little bit different. And I wanted to talk a little bit about more so the behind the scenes view of energy work. And I thought this would be a unique way to explore something that I guess really isn't, from my research, it isn't really talked about enough. And that's how much energy work personally affects spiritual awakening. And I think it's interesting how, it's more common to hear things about, Reiki, crystals, shadow work, often inner child healing, and sometimes even more so just more of these external tools, such as, meditation. I guess meditation isn't really an external tool, but it's more common tools that you hear about is meditation, visualization, inner child healing, shadow work, crystals, all those sorts of things are usually what you hear when it comes to spiritual awakening advice. Or you hear the more lame things like go lay in nature and, play in the dirt and all these silly things that honestly, I'm really, come on, guys, really. Of course those things are good for you. I love gardening as much as the next person, but I don't think that's going to resolve years and years of conditioning or trauma or emotional wounding that's happening on the internal level. So let's just get real here. So when it comes to energy work, the number one thing I really want to talk to you about is when you think about what energy is as a concept, we are all energy beings. Everything is vibrating. Everything is oscillating. Who we are as a person is about understanding that energy is a never-ending conversation because you are energy at your core. You are more energy than you are physical solid matter in reality. And I think that's something that is it can kind of take your breath away because it's just such an amazing thing to hear, but also a little bit of a terrifying thing to hear. Wow, I am actually more energy and non-material than I am material. I'm actually more of an energetic being that is living in a place of consciousness in this multiverse of consciousness versus being just a physical human in a physical body with solid, dense matter. And what you'll find is that as you know that you're an energy being, you can start to realize that consciousness itself is really the root of real healing. And the reason for this is if you were to think about what happens during spiritual awakening, is that it's kind of like you're entering this point of the death of the old self. You're entering this point of ego death of the old consciousness. And when you start to look at how Kundalini awakening is shaped, it's an abrupt rising of consciousness. And what's occurring is you're witnessing the death of the old consciousness and the rising of the new consciousness, known as the new paradigm, 5D. And what really, in layman's terms, what's going on is your old identity, your old self that was very much built from a duality perspective of more of like an ego perspective of your past self is starting to evolve and change consciousness. And what's occurring is you are the evolved self that's merging from the spiritual awakening and rising into a new identity of self. And this new identity is built more from your sense of who you are as a person, your authentic self, who you are beyond the conditioning and the programming and the beliefs and the ideas and the opinions and the judgments and the thoughts of the personas of who you used to be. And spiritual awakening, Kundalini awakening, let's just interchange this as one concept, awakening. It's about looking at you are changing from the internal level of consciousness. Now, how does energy work play into this? Well, when we start to understand how spiritual awakening happens and spiritual awakening occurs, you can start to see that energy work plays a vital role in the healing process because it shows you that you don't want to be fixated on change on the external level because you're only changing your past. I think it's Joe Dispenza, he says when you only are working on your external world, you are literally like trying to manipulate your past because that is already manifested. Your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and habits have already manifested, and that's what you see around you right now today. So what you see around you right now, your given circumstance, this is an accumulation point of your past thoughts, feelings, habits, behaviors, vibrations, etc., and your energy of who you are at this given rate in time. Now, when you look at how energy work can play a vital role in this, you can start to see that because you have this past self of who you are, you can see that when you are only trying to change something externally, you're not working on the internal processes that are going on, that are creating the circumstance. So if you were to think about it like if your past thoughts, feelings, habits, etc. are creating the external circumstance, then you wouldn't change the external circumstance. You would focus on changing the internal state of consciousness. All right. For some reason, it's like crazy dry. Can we take a moment to honor my beautiful cauldron cup? It's like my favorite thing ever. It was $3 from Target, but it was amazing. Okay, so when it comes to really looking at, the internal state of consciousness is where we left off. So when you think about the internal state of consciousness, this is how you actually create real change in the body because this is what creates circumstance. So it's like you cannot change circumstance that has already happened. You can, however, change the internal state to change circumstance because that is how circumstance is created. So if you were to think about it, how energy work is connected to this, you have to see that the internal state is the energetic state of consciousness. So I learned really quickly on my own spiritual awakening journey that what it really came back to for me was understanding that energy work is connected to mindset work, is connected to your behavior, connected to your emotions, connected to your limited beliefs. It's literally a domino effect going back to your energy. And so a huge thing I learned, especially with the chakra system, is understanding that each of those energy centers connect to your mindset, emotions, habits, and your frequency of who you are. And so it becomes almost like a psychological guide map to personally understanding those parts of you. So what I learned with spiritual awakening very quickly is that when I started to have symptoms come up for me, what I started to really pinpoint was, okay, so I'm having headaches. So that means my third eye is like acting up. So that means I need to work on my third eye. And then, I'd start to have, the anxiety and the heart palpitations and all of that. And then I'd start to work on my heart chakra. And then so I just learned how to create a plug and play system between the symptoms and my chakras. And that became a mode where I can work on my internal state of consciousness and start to change it and repattern it to support my spiritual awakening. And instead, it became more of a conversation of not necessarily what do I need to heal today or what do I need to cope with today, but it more so became a lesson of what are you trying to teach me? Like, I started using the symptoms as a tool for healing. And I started to use them as a tool for healing where I started to realize that the symptoms were just a red flag showing me what I needed to heal. And so it became less of a conversation of what do I need to cope? How do I deal with this? I'm suffering for my ascension. And it became more of a conversation of what do I need to heal? And how can I learn from this? How can I learn from this symptom? How can I learn from what's coming up for me? And it became a real perspective shift in my mind, if you think about it. And so the internal state, I would say, is the number one thing it comes to understanding why energy work is so powerful when it comes to spiritual awakening. It is the internal state. You are trying to use external tools to solve an internal problem, and then you wonder why you're not seeing results, and then you wonder why nothing's happening behind the scenes. It's because of the internal state has to change. And that's what I love to teach on. So the second thing I would say, beyond the internal state, why is energy work incredibly powerful for spiritual awakening? Well, energy work teaches us that everything has an energetic cause. Everything has an energetic cause. So if you are suffering from symptoms of awakening, or you're having a really hard time understanding your intuitive gifts, if you're having a really hard time managing your energy, if you're having a hard time being a highly sensitive person, an empath, an overly sensitive person, what is going on is not necessarily that you have an actual problem. What you actually are experiencing is more than likely a lack of personal energetic awareness on knowing your actual energetic cause of why these things are coming up for you. What I really learned, and I'm an intuitive empath, is what I quickly learned over the years of studying the chakras. I wouldn't say it was quickly, it was more so a process, but the hugest thing I would say I learned a lot about how to manage my emotions and my energy to manage how I was empathetically being hypersensitive. So it became a moment of, instead of being influence where I'm feeling everybody's everything, I started to learn very proper energetic boundaries that allowed me to honor my gifts more, with more of a technique on, I wouldn't even say it's self-regulation. It more so felt like I was understanding how to know how my energy works. And because I knew how my energy works, I was able to regulate easier without even using regulating tools, because the more I understood my energy, it became so much easier to be like, this is my energy, that's their energy, I have the boundaries in place, I'm going to cut them off, and I can do that because I am literally the one in control. And it became more of a conversation of, I understood the energetic cause. So what I'm trying to get at here is, you'll realize that the symptoms are just a symptom, and the cause is actually the real root of the problem. And you can start to see that what you actually need to be working on is the energetic cause, often located in the chakra system. And it's not necessarily about trying to heal the symptom. This is where people get really tripped up, right? They're trying to focus on healing the symptom. Take your supplements, sit in nature, do a meditation, cope with this, deal with this. But actually, it's about understanding the energetic cause so you can literally obliterate the symptom. Because if you understand the energetic cause, you can change the pattern. And when you change the pattern, the symptom has no reason to reappear. Do you understand what I mean? So when you look at how energy work is occurring in the body, you can start to see that it's actually a pattern. And if you understand the pattern that is happening on the mind-body level, from your mindset, your habits, your energy, your emotions, you can start to realize how you can release that trapped energy in the body, known as trapped emotion in the body. So what I teach a lot of my clients is it's all about emotional liberation of our energy. And so when we start to learn how to liberate those emotions, it can literally unlock the pattern. And then the pattern, it's like if you find the right thread, the whole thing unravels. And this is what happens with energy work. If you find the right thread, the whole thing will just unravel. And then what you'll find is the symptoms will naturally start to dissipate because they no longer have a need to exist anymore. There's no longer a need for them to exist because you have identified the cause and you're working on repatterning the wound. And this is the concept of what happens with energy work is you're learning how to repattern the wound so it has no longer a need to exist. So this is what I teach really heavily in the Ultimate Chakra Academy. It will be opening its doors soon. And one thing I also wanted to say when it comes to energy work is looking at where is it coming up? Because this will also help indicate where it's being located in a particular chakra. So for example, if you're having particular symptoms, and this is very, very common, and I've been talking about this a lot recently because I know there's a lot of people out there who suffer from this, is what happens is that they have a very overactive chakra system. And what this translates to is they're probably super overactive in their higher chakras due to their spiritual awakening. And what occurs is they have so much energy being downloaded and poured into them that they're not releasing it. They're not doing anything with it. And then what's happening is it's overcompensating in the higher chakras as nowhere to travel, so it's not able to release itself. And what happens is you've established now very, very claustrophobic kind of energy where you're literally being like, you feel like a bottle rocket of emotion because there's too much energy going on. This is a very real problem that I've seen continuously happen, especially with spiritual awakening and Kundalini awakening, most definitely. Because what's occurring is you have so much energy coming up from the Kundalini that it's getting kind of trapped in the body. And it's your job to learn how to properly process that, release that, understand the download, understand the idea, understand what's coming up for you. And a big part of this is learning how to understand your energy body and what's going on. Because if you're kind of lost in the dark and you're very intuitive, and you know you have gifts and you know you're empathetic, but you don't know how to emotionally regulate that. You don't know how to have that energetic awareness of what's even going on. It makes it a really, really hard game to understand because you're just kind of fumbling around in the dark and hoping you get it right. And so what I've really quickly learned is that the chakras really allow you to create a plug and play system of like, okay, this is what's going on in the higher chakras. I'm obviously suffering from an overactive third eye. I need less meditation and I need more grounding work where I'm in my body. I need more somatic work. I need more body rituals instead of mind rituals. And you'll start to notice that there's a different conversation here when you're excessively meditating and you have overactive, oh my God, this is such a problem. So this is something that happens so much in the industry and it drives me absolutely bonkers. is everyone talks about that meditation is the be all end all to everybody's problems. But then if we're walking around with these overactive chakras and overactive third eyes, and we have too much energy going on, the last thing we need to do is meditate more. What we actually need to be doing is getting rid of the excess energy. You can't get rid of that excess energy if you're meditating, because it's like you're like refusing to let go of something. It's like you're kind of just gripping on tightly to something and you have to let go of something. So you need releasing work is what you need. You need tools to release what is overcompensated. So, releasing work can range from, doing somatic work. It can range from doing yoga or an exercise routine or going for walks. What's happening is there's just too much energy going on where you're trapped too much in the head and not enough in the body. And what occurs is you've triggered the fight flight response, and it kind of puts you in this loop of overcompensating energy. But what a lot of people aren't telling you is what you need to be doing is releasing that. And so that's the gift of what can happen with energy work, is you start to realize that, and this is the final thing I want to mention, it's every healing strategy can be different, and it depends on what you physically need. For some people, they might have the opposite, where maybe they had a lot of trauma or they had a lot of emotional wounding or emotional trauma. That will be more so about regulating the lower chakra system, because that's more so about being in the body. And so you'll start to see that it could be a different conversation here, where you might not need higher chakra work. You might need lower chakra work. And, with the pandemic and everything that's been going on, for many of us, a lot of what we've been needing really, really badly has been lower chakra work. Because if we're all being triggered in fear and uncertainty and dread and existential crisis and worried about inflation and recession and all of these different things that are triggering our root chakra like a crazy person, making us feel dysregulated, making us fearful, almost making us re-traumatized, what we actually need is to feel safe and supported in our body. And a lot of that can come with working on the lower chakras. So case in point, this is exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to energy work. So energy work for me has changed so many things in my life. It's changed, I could be here all day listing everything it's done for me. But, some of the main things is it's helped me lose weight. It helped me regulate my emotions. It helped me have a beautiful, loving relationship of over 13 years with the love of my life, because I've worked on my heart chakra. It helps save me from concepts of self-harm and self-torture, kind of like a self-destructive pattern I was having. It helped me learn to love myself. It helped me with my confidence. It helped me with my career. It helped me with my intuition. It helped me cultivate an abundance mindset. There is so many gifts of the chakras. I could literally be here all day telling you all the benefits of energy work. And I do believe there are other energy tools that are just as effective. But when it comes to the chakras, what's really powerful about them is they're an energy system. And so when you look at the concept of an energy system, it literally is like you're holding a psychological guide map of where there's an imbalance, where you feel blocked, where something is coming up for you so you can easily heal it. And it's interesting because something I don't really talk about often is I've used the chakras to heal just a basic illness. Like, say I have a sore throat show up. So if I have a sore throat show up, I start doing throat chakra work. And I'm like, okay, where am I not feeling heard? Where am I not honoring my voice? Where am I listening to the little shy girl? Like, going into the depths of this work can be used for health, for illnesses, for when you suddenly get sick. It can also be used for, establishing new routines, such as a new habit that you're wanting to cultivate. It can be used for money mindset, such as regulating your root chakra to help you with your money mindset. There is so many different ways that you can use energy work because it's helping on the mind-body level. And what occurs is it shows you so much more about how your energy works. So the hugest takeaway I want you to get from this is looking at energy work like this is it's like before you were fumbling in the dark, but if you start to understand energy work and you really go into the depths of the process, it's like you suddenly have a map in front of you and you're like, okay, this is where I need to go. This is what I need to do. This is exactly what I need to heal. And it just becomes so much easier. And I think the reason why I have grown so much emotionally, spiritually, and mentally has honestly been the gift of the chakras, without question. And I think a huge component to that is because of the way it just gives me a map. It gives me a map of what I need to do, where I need to heal, and automatically it's like this. And then all of a sudden, the manifestation becomes a byproduct due to that work. And what you'll find is that the work gets easier and easier and easier. It's not like you're dissecting your wounds every week. It becomes a moment of, oh, this is coming up for me. Throat chakra. All right, let's go. And then you repattern it, and then it's like next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you're like over it. And then you've moved on. And then you suddenly realize, oh, that just dissipated. What happened here? I didn't what even happened? It's like magic. This is the result of what can happen with real energy work. It's an incredible experience. If you have worked with energy work, I would love to know what has been your own personal experience. Share with me in the comments. I would love to know. And before you go, I do have a free gift for you. Currently, we have a limited time offer for the Chakra Masterclass. This is an out of the vault training that I only bring out on special occasions, and you can watch it today within this next week over the chakra framework. So what I teach in the Chakra Detox Masterclass is a unique framework where we go over how does energy work, and I give you my signature process that I teach in depth in the Chakra Academy, and we go into the process of how we can connect energy work to manifestation, how you can use it to create your own detox plan, how you can start to use energy work for your own spiritual awakening. We go into the process of how the chakras work, and we also talk a lot about how you can start to create your own detox plan to start working on your own energy. It's a very incredible, value-packed training, and I am so excited to share it with you. So if you are interested, I'll leave the link down below, or you can go to theawakenstate.net/free chakra masterclass, and you can receive instant access for only a couple of weeks. So it's this week and next week, I believe. So then we're pulling it out and it goes back into the vault because it's a special training and it's jam-packed with value. So I recommend getting your notebook and your pen, and definitely even print out the workbook that I also give you so you can go through it as you watch the class. Okay, so I hope you deeply enjoyed this unique take on energy work behind the scenes, and I'll see you guys next time.